Vandon, I know you've been here before, but tell us a little about yourself.
I have been. Thanks for having me again here, Brett. I'm Vandon Jean. I'm actually in Toronto, Canada. I go to school up here in Canada, but I also host a weekly online show on the line with Vandon Jean on the Tea Party News Network. So I'm well versed in all the political shenanigans, if you will, and what we're going to discuss today. And it's a bit of a hobby of mine to talk about it. And, well, I'm happy to be here to talk to all of you guys here about the whole conversation. Well versed in politics, and that's what I love.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for being here again. Vandon, what about you?
Yeah, Janet mentioned at the beginning that it was shocking to her, and I think a lot of people as well, that a lot of people out there don't actually know much about Benghazi. They don't know that there's going to be the select committee that was just formed. There's going to be an investigation, et cetera, et cetera. And I want to take from that and go back to the media because, that's what I do in school. I study media a lot. That's what I want to pursue a job in media. And it really worries me, the freedom of the press and how they are reporting on certain situations, the biases in the media. I mean, we look at Cheryl Atkinson, for example, who tried to, investigate this Benghazi cover-up, some call it, others not so much, whatever it may be. And she was essentially kicked off from the networks. And that's scary. Fox is really the only one that's been covering this extensively, and thank goodness for you guys over at Fox who are covering it. But that's what worries me, the media, and how media can be biased towards one president, one administration, one party at times. They selectively cover some things while ignoring others. And unfortunately, Benghazi is one of those, and I don't really think it is a political issue. I think it is a national security issue. It's something to look at and say, was there incompetency? Was there a cover-up? And if so, we need to find out. Let's not play politics with this. And unfortunately, there's even a poll that was out. I think it said the vast majority of people, I think it was 53 or 54%, view Benghazi. They think it's important, but on top of that, unfortunately, they think that a lot of people are politicizing it on both sides of the aisle. And with the media, it's just adding on to that. So I worry for the politicization of this, how the media is covering it, and if we will get any answers, because it seems to some as a political witch hunt, which I don't think it is, but the media is making out to be that it looks like such.
Yeah, Judge, I tell you, it's interesting he brings up the media. The coverage of Benghazi has been quite something to watch. Obviously, got a little bit more coverage when this new email came out.
It's interesting, and for those of us who, try to do the right thing, you're on the news side, I'm on the opinion side. At Fox, it can be very frustrating, but Vandon makes some great observations. One would think that there would have been outrage, and there was, but it was so short-lived among the press because they're being either misled, tricked, deceived, or outright lied to.
Anybody have any questions before we kind of wrap it up?
Yeah, Brett, you know what? I wanted to ask you again, back to the media side of things, because, I mean, you're someone who has been leading on talking about Benghazi, trying to get down to the issue, and as the judge said a moment ago, you're on the news side of things, which, a lot of people, they say things about Fox, which I think is completely unfair, and they say it's all opinion. Not true. I mean, you're one of the best in the business for news, but how have you felt any pressure, per se, or any scrutiny that you didn't think was fair, or that you get from your former, your colleagues at the other networks, or even friends who talk about this and say, maybe this isn't something to cover, because I feel like there's a lot of pushback with the elites in the media to say that we shouldn't touch this, leave it alone, it's not a big scandal, etc. Yeah. And again, you're doing a very fair and balanced job. You're not giving an opinion on it. I mean, so how
thanks for the question. There is a culture in Washington, clearly, that sometimes there gets to be this groupthink in coverage, and that if you're outside that bubble of groupthink, the way Washington thinks about something, that's they make jokes about it, or rib you about it at some event or something. But listen, we made a pledge on Special Report that if there is something new with this investigation, we are going to cover it. And if there isn't, we're not. We're going to let the chips fall where they may, and we're going to cover the news. And that's what we've strived to do from the beginning. There's plenty of questions to ask, but you have to be able to advance the ball at some point. And we'll see what happens with the select committee. And if they overreach, there will be political payback. clearly, and I think Republicans know that. Um, but as far as the media culture, there clearly is a sense that you know, if you're doing this story, there's a reason for doing it, as opposed to just finding out the answers to questions.
Which is really unfortunate, I think.
Yeah. Let me go down the row. Just ask you about social media. Vandon?
Well, I'm a youngin', so, social media is sort of something that we all love, us young kids. No, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google Plus, here and there. I mean, I do it obviously because you're on there, Bret, and it's fun to have this conversation, but I'm all over the place.
Yeah.